again and welcome to the Laughter Crafter. Thanks for joining us again. Well, today I've got something that I think you'll really like, and it didn't cost much at all. It didn't take long either, and it is a little platter, a round platter that I got from the Opportunity Shop, and I decorated it with a plait made from raffia, which was quick and easy to do, and you'll be able to do it too as I demonstrate. It's very easy and fun. And I've just sat on top of this little platter some of these battery operated candles and some pearls and flowers, and you can put on whatever you want. So here's our limerick that goes with this particular craft. If you wanted to spruce up a platter, well, you wouldn't be mad as a hatter. Take some raffia strands, make a plait with your hands. If it's wonky, it really don't matter. Now I said that because when you use something like raffia, it's not an exact science. So the plaiting can be kind of a bit wobbly and wonky and fat and thin in places, but that's part of using something like raffia. Anyway, it's pretty rustic, but it's meant to look like that. And I had fun making this. So, oh no, I have a joke for you. I'm going to tell my friend Emma this joke. Emma, why shouldn't Apple make cars?
I don't know. Why?
Because they don't have windows. All right, let's get on with the craft. So here's what I need to make this plaited raffia platter, or plate, if you like. So you need some raffia. You can buy these bundles of raffia from most craft stores, Spotlight here in Australia, Joanne's Fabrics, that sort of place. But if you want to just pay less, you could buy a little child's Hawaiian skirt. That's usually made of raffia, and often you can pick those up from a $2 shop or a Dollar Tree shop and just chop it up and use the raffia from that. So you need the raffia. You also need a hot glue gun and glue sticks. You need pegs just to hold the end of the plait as you go. And I've got a few different assorted shapes of plates here that you could use. Whichever shape you choose to use, you start by gluing down the plait in the center and just work out round and round. I've got this interesting square one I picked up in Bali, which is lovely. I've got a round one, so I think I'm going to go with a round one. And then I'm intending to put some handles on the outside. So you could even, if you have like a little wooden plate, that wouldn't weigh as much, you could go with that. So that's basically all you need to get started. So what I've done here to begin the plait is I've taken 12 strands of the raffia. They're all roughly the same length, but some of them are slightly sort of thicker than others, and that doesn't matter, because if the plait has got thick and thin bits to it, that's all a part of its charm, and that's okay. So I've taken 12 strands and tied them together with a little knot here, and whatever number you choose, if you want a really fine plait, then you could do 9. You just need to choose a number that's divisible by 3. So I'm going to choose 12 so that I can have 4 strands in each of the 3 pieces of the plait. Now, if you've never plaited before, basically you're going to take the 4 strands, separate them like this, and to start off I'm going to use that peg that I got, and I'm going to just peg the end of that plait there so that I can pick this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, separate all the strands. So I'm hoping that that is being picked up with the camera. I'll pull it back a little bit. And so to start to plait, if you've never done it before, I start with my right hand and go over the middle and grab it with my left hand. Pull that middle one out to the right with the one that's on my far left, over that middle one again, and grab that with my right hand. Right over the middle, left over the middle, right over the middle, left over the middle, and pull it so that it's nice and firm. Now I'm going to lift this up a bit closer to the camera so that you can see the plait pattern that we're getting now. And I think that's a lovely, small, firm plait, and I think that's about the right size that I'm looking for to put on this, to glue onto this plate. As I said, if you wanted 15 strands, that would give you 3 little bunches of 5, and that would make a fatter, thicker plait, which will also be fatter. See how narrow this is, and that's fairly slim to glue onto your plate. I think 12 is a good number, so I'm sticking with that. I'm going to go back down, peg it down to my little mat, and keep going. And I need to do several meters, so I'm going to continue until I get to the end of the length of these strands, and then I'll start filming again and show you how to add in extra strands of the raffia. So this is the length I have so far, which is around about 40 centimeters, and it's looking fairly neat. So I'm going to show you now what happens when you get to this point doing the plait and you realize, oh, they're running out. I'm soon not going to have 4 strands. I'm going to be down to like 2 strands. So what I'll do is I'll peg this about here just on my light stand. Don't need to go to the end. And so I've got this one here that's kind of running out of length. I've got it sitting in this middle position. So I'm going to take one strand out of my pile, find the end of it, and lay it just on top, sticking out a little bit like that. Then I just take that over and keep on plaiting and let that just stick out. Don't worry that it sticks out, because this is all going to get a haircut in the end. Now I've still got length here in the middle one. That one's okay. I'll just keep an eye out for the ones that need some extra length. This one needs one, so I'll take another strand and do the same thing. Remember, I've got it in this position where it's in the middle. It's come from the left and now it's sitting in the middle, and I'll put it there. So right over the middle, left over the middle, and check this one now. Now I'm running short here in this one. So again, I'm going to take another strand and just lay it on top there like that and continue plaiting. Just keeping an eye out as I go for any of the bunches that have a short piece of raffia coming up, and that's when I'll add in. So this one here, I think I can go for just a bit longer because it's spongy. Take this one over from the right across the middle, check on this one. This one's looking okay. Now this one is definitely needing another piece because we're down to 3. So I'm going to reach across and grab another piece out of my stack, and again in that position, in the middle position heading towards the right, that's where I added in. And so I'm going to continue on just keeping an eye on those bunches just to check that they all still have some length in each of the 4 pieces of raffia, and keep on plaiting and keep on disentangling as we go as well. Alright, so that's all it is, and you keep going until you get what you think is a pretty reasonable length, like a few meters or a few yards. It's probably going to be enough, and we'll start gluing, and if we find it's not enough, then we'll stop gluing and just make the plait a bit longer. So here is the raffia that I've done. I've only done just over a meter. I thought I would start with that. Now I'm going to give it a little haircut. Those bits that I've added in, they just get trimmed off with the scissors. They're not going to fall out because they're tightly added in with the plait. Any bits that you want to trim up, go ahead and do that. So with my plate, I've determined that the head of the bee is pretty much the center. So I'm going to put this knot that I made right on that head of the bee, and I'm going to start with a little bit of the glue just off there to the left of that head, just to squash that bit down. Then I'm going to be moving around in a clockwise motion, working fairly quickly. Remember, this is very hot, this glue, and I want to travel over that knot and just do one little section of the glue at a time, taking that plait around right next to the previous row. So holding that down with my left hand, gluing again with the right hand. This glue gun doesn't want to cooperate today. So just make a half a circle like that. I'm going to go right over that tail that I made at the beginning, cover it right up, continue moving around. If little bits of glue ooze out, that's okay. It's okay. And I'm just going to continue in this fashion. So this is what I've glued on so far, and of course that's the rest of my raffia that needs to be plaited. So I'm just going to put the peg just there, which is going to sort of hold it nice and firm while I continue plaiting in exactly the same way as before. I'm probably going to do another meter and then see how that goes. So I've finished winding all the raffia plait around the plate and sticking it on. Now I've got this end to contend with here. So what I've done is with a knife I've carefully just loosened up these little braids, plaits right there. I'm going to take that peg off and lift that up and just put some glue under here. I'm being careful not to glue my fingers with that hot glue. I'm just going to poke that raffia in there, put some more glue in as well, and tuck that down on top. Maybe I'll get this peg and shove that in there like that. That's it. And hold it down. A little scrap of fabric there to wipe the excess glue off. Whoopsie. There we go. And that ends down. So now I'm ready to make a little bit more length of raffia. Then I'm going to attach handles. So that's a bit long. What I'm going to do is take it back to the length that I want, and then just leave these ends stick out like that. I'll tie them off, but I'll let them stay out like that rather than try and tuck them in. And I might actually kind of put the end over there where that is a bit messy, and do it that way. Anyway, so I'll work on these little handles and be back shortly. So I've got myself a little handle there, and from this cut end to this cut end is about 25 centimeters long. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on this endy bit that I want to cover up because it's a little bit messy. And I'm just going to hold that on there like so. Not sure if the camera caught that, but I just put glue down on that bit of where the join went under a couple of minutes ago. I've just set the glue on there and pressed that there. And this is another little bit that looks a little bit kind of uneven. Not that I care too much about being perfect, I don't. But you know what? Let's just use it. And I'm going to press that on in the same way and leave myself a handle. So I've got a little bit of glue oozing out, so I'm just going to use this bit of raffia that's rubbish, and I'm going to scrape that away. Oh, spider webs, that's okay. I wouldn't have wanted to use a tissue because that just would have really stuck. So now I'm just applying some pressure with both my thumbs on each end of this handle. Then I'm going to go ahead and make another handle exactly the same and pop it on this side opposite. And that, being hot glue from the hot glue gun, will be very strong and strong enough to hold up this plate. Although I wouldn't want to put anything really super heavy and precious on it. It's probably not going to be used as a tray to be carrying things around with, but it is just really for the look, because I'm going to use this to probably put some candles, maybe some potpourri, something decorative sitting on there. So that's one handle done, and it's done a fairly nice job of hiding what was a little bit messy underneath. So I'm making a raffia hat, which I made this mold, like crown of a head, and you just make several meters of raffia, and you can see that I've used many more strands than 12 because this plait is a lot fatter than the one I've made for that plate. And you just pin it on, and then you use raffia and sew together. You don't glue the raffia strands plaits together, you sew them on. You can see that that's my strand from where I'm in the middle of sewing that, and you keep on sewing that around, and when you get to the brim you come outwards and you make your brim of your hat. Anyway, that's a totally different project, but I thought I'd just show you that one in progress and how you can make whatever width, fatness of plait that you want. So here is the 25 centimeter raffia piece for the plait piece for the other handle, and I've just placed pins in opposite this handle over here, just pins in which will make this handle level with the one that's on the opposite side, like that. And so now I'm just ready to put some glue here. And hold that down like so. Mop up any little oozy bits like so. That's good. Hold that down with my left thumb. I'm going to go across here. And hold this one down. So hopefully you can see that. And that handle is opposite the one over there, so I'll take those pins out now. And press down firmly for 30 seconds or so. And that looks like it's done. I'm quite happy with that. That's a little bit long, that little bit over there. I'll just give that a bit of a haircut. But that's a rustic little raffia plate, and I think that's come up quite good. So that's it. So how did you go making our raffia plait platter? That's a tongue twister. Well, I had fun demonstrating it for you, so I hope that you have a go at it. You can do this because it's not difficult, it's not expensive, it doesn't take ages, and it's something that you can give as a gift or have in your own home. It's really, really fun to do. Okay, so don't forget to do all the usual things. Go on underneath and put in your comments. I'd love to see your photos if you made something like this. And I'd love to see the thumbs up and the subscribe and share it with your friends and do all that stuff. Okay, and in the meantime, have a great week laughing and have a great week crafting. See you next time. Bye.